What's going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. Let's talk about the top tech stories of 2016. Now, we had a bunch of stuff happen in 2016 and a lot of great devices that came out, but the biggest news story by far had to be the Galaxy Note 7. Now, not just the Galaxy Note 7, but the recall. Now, the Galaxy Note 7 came out in August of 2016, but by September of 2016, it started having news stories of a fire, and it was exploding, causing property damage. So Samsung did an initial recall of that phone and said that it was the battery that was the issue. So what they did is they swapped out the Korean batteries in the phones and they replaced them with Chinese batteries. Then they started replacing everyone's phone if they wanted to. All they had to do was bring out their original Note 7 to the store and Samsung would replace it. And then later on that month and into October, the phones, those replacement phones, started getting recalled as well. And you have this huge plethora of news stories come out almost every single day of people's phones, again, catching on fire, exploding, all kinds of crazy stuff. Some of them turned out to be false, some were true. But overall, this caused a huge loss for Samsung. They lost millions, if not $1 billion, I guess it was at one point. And it hurt them big time. They lost a lot of customers because of it. They eventually allowed the people to replace their Galaxy Note 7s with other Samsung phones, or they could just return it altogether and get all their money back. Fast forward into October, November, and December, and people still have their Galaxy Note 7s. Samsung has pushed initial updates out that push their people's batteries to 60%. And then down to 30%, and then they're pushing updates out that will kill the people's phones, and then users that still want their Note 7s are hacking the phone so that they don't get the update and they can continue using the Galaxy Note 7. So it's been a huge, crazy year for Galaxy Note 7. It's been banned on flights, so you can't fly with it, and if you do, you possibly can get arrested or fined or both, put in jail. It's a really crazy story. It's been lasting pretty fever pitch since it came out because everybody loved the phone. It was getting rave reviews from websites and news outlets and tech video bloggers and vloggers, and everyone really loved this phone. Fans loved this phone. It's just an amazing phone. It had a great screen, it had great software, it felt good in your hand, it was beautiful. It was just the best phone overall that you could get. And it just ended up causing a whole heap of damage to Samsung's image and in their wallet. But overall, the Galaxy Note 7 was by far the biggest tech news story of 2016. The second biggest news story, and definitely the funniest of all these news stories, was when Apple announced that their new iPhone, the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, would not have a headphone jack, and the headphones that were included with the iPhone would be plugged in via the Lightning port. Tech sites and news outlets made a huge deal about this, saying that the iPhone would be one of the first major phones to not have a headphone jack. A lot of users were really pissed off about this. Apple included an adapter in this, which made it look completely ridiculous. It was a Lightning adapter, and then you have your headphone plugged into that. It looks so ridiculous and dumb, and it just makes it feel very clunky. If you forget that $9 cable, you're SOL if you like to use headphones. So it's just a bad thing overall for Apple, publicity wise, even though a lot of people probably use Bluetooth. Even I use Bluetooth, and I think that people that want to use this headphone jack, they have to go through the trouble of remembering that adapter, and it just is an awful workaround. And I still see it to this day, 3 months later after the iPhone comes out. That phone and any other phone that's announced that might not have a headphone jack, people that want to get these phones are completely turned off by it because they want the headphone jack. They don't want to have to deal with adapters or buying new headphones. They just want their headphones that have always worked to work still. So it's a big deal for consumers to still have that headphone jack, even though it's kind of an old technology. It's been there since 70s, maybe even before that, 60s. It was definitely in Walkman in the 80s, so it's a very old technology. Bluetooth sounds awesome nowadays. It doesn't sound like it did, 5 years ago. It sounds really, really crisp and clear, and the bass and the lows and the mids and the highs are excellent on Bluetooth, so there's really no reason to keep using headphones with an auxiliary cable. The number 3 top news story, and this could have been one, it might even be number 1, but in my world, it's definitely number 3, was Pokemon the game. It came out for mobile devices, iPhone and Android, and this everybody played this game to hell. You'd see people walking around with their phones, looking down, not looking where they're going, and they would just play that game everywhere. They'd go to meetups and do Pokemon battles, and they'd go to training centers and all this crap. It was just like the biggest game ever. I never really got into it. I'd hang out with friends and they'd want to walk down the street and see if they could catch rare Pokemon, and the game generated a lot of money. It was one of the most downloaded games ever. It's just a huge franchise, and once it came to mobile, it got even bigger. So Pokemon came in as my number 3 top news story. And my last news story, number 4, was the Google Pixel phone. This phone got a lot of press, a lot of bad press, a lot of good press. People complaining, oh, it's ugly because it has glass backing. It's a two-layer look on the back, and it doesn't have waterproof. And what else? It doesn't have wireless charging. And people complained out the whiz-a-woo about this phone, but in the overall sense, this phone's doing excellent. It was a great advantage for Google to release this phone when they did, because of the fact that the Note 7 was recalled, and then somebody and everybody were looking for phones, and this phone was there. It's really the iPhone of Android. It's very easy to use, it's smooth, it's fast, and it has a great camera. So it's a really great phone for someone to jump from Apple over to iPhone, and that's what a lot of people did. It's selling really well. It's definitely one of the top, if not the top phones of the year. Everywhere. It's better than iPhone in a lot of people's eyes. It's better than the Samsung devices. So overall, this was my number 4 top news story. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I put a video out every single day. In the comments down below, let me know what you thought were the top news stories of 2016. I gave you mine. Let me know if you think I was right or wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. See you down the road. Peace.